Hey, what's going on, guys? So I am back home in St. Augustine for the day. Since my dad let me borrow his FJ Cruiser for the week because I had a lot of tires that I had to take from here to Orlando for the last drift event, I needed to come back home and give him his truck. And while I had it, I decided to grab all of the rest of the stock parts that I had piled up in Joan's garage. You know, it's totally awesome that he lets me keep the FRS there, and I totally felt like I was taking advantage of the whole situation by keeping a bunch of my interior parts there. And since I had the FJ, I had plenty of room to bring them all back home. What are you guys doing? Huh? What are you doing, Nacho? Hey, Wally. Oh, buddy boy. Hey, Nacho, go get a toy. Go get a toy. Give me your toy, Nacho. Stop playing around. Let's look at your toy. Nacho literally likes to chew all of the appendages off of his toys. Back to what we were gonna do. Oh boy, would you look at all those parts. I got the rear panels, the door cards, both sides, since, you know, I don't need to run them since I have a roll cage. The skid plate that no one likes. Let's move all of this crap. Got all of the interior parts out. All that's left is basically these Rocket Bunny fenders. For those of you that are wondering why I haven't installed these yet, it's basically because I'd rather put more power down before I go wide body. And these aren't authentic fenders. I know some of you guys feel very strongly that people use authentic pieces on their car, but my main point of argument against that, at least in my case, is that since I drift, I am more than likely going to get tapped by someone, tap a wall, tap a cone, and if I were to do that with fiberglass, then, you know, it's gonna crack, and that's just gonna be prep work that I'm gonna have to fix. Compared to these fenders, which are actually made of an ABS plastic. It would be a lot easier for me to justify going Rocket Bunny if I actually had damage on the car, but I don't, and I don't plan on having the car get damaged that way. Okay, I wonder if I can grab all of these in one go. Didn't think I could do this. I got it though. We'll take these right on inside. Ugh. Welcome to my room back home. And would you look at all of these parts that I have. My parents aren't too fond of the fact that I basically have the whole interior of a car up in my room. But sorry, Mom and Dad. And I'm actually going to be taking this back with me to Orlando. I don't know why I brought it with me. This is the center console where the shifter goes, and I actually bought a brand new one of these. You know, you would think that these would be super expensive, but I literally got this thing for, I think it was $40 shipped. And what I need it for is for when I get my hydro installed. I want to have this as cleanly cut as possible to fit the hydro right next to the shifter. One thing I guess I could actually do is give you guys a walk around of the 240. Yeah, I know it's nothing special, but the fact that it's, you know, a bone stock 240 SX, one of the most modified cars out on the road, kind of makes it a little unique. Guys, remember, always protect the dash. The interior of this car is like really clean given, you know, it's over 20 years old. Yeah, you know, there's some stains on the floor mats, but underneath, I mean, it is clean. The dash is pretty much pristine outside of one tiny crack that runs through the length of the dash. Of course, Joan decided to cover it with electrical tape, which kind of, you know, helps it blend in. You cannot really tell it's there. Aftermarket head unit, I know that's pretty much the only thing done to this car, but when I say that this thing has a full interior, I mean it. There is nothing missing on the inside of this car. AC, the heater, cruise control, all of the electronics work in this car, which is astonishing given that you see so many of these things gutted, being drifted all of the time. Of course, have the ambush drift sticker on it. Now this is a base model Zenki, and the previous owner decided that she would like to add the SE spoiler. So I went ahead and removed the spoiler, and of course, Joan covered up the holes from the spoiler with red electrical tape. You can't even tell at a distance. And of course, the ambush drift license plate. See what we have. I don't really remember what I have in here. Jumper cables, a bigger ambush drift sticker. Don't know why I have that in here. It did come with the carpet, but it was kind of dry rotting, so I just removed it. Nothing interesting in here. Pop in on the driver's side here. Like, I am just so happy with how clean this thing is on the interior. That's what I'm saying. This thing is in such good condition given the fact that it's so old. Bone stock dual cam KA24. Only thing that's aftermarket up here is literally this thicker radiator that I had purchased when I first got the car. Overall, I've put about, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 miles on this car, and it is holding up just fine. Outside of a leaky valve cover gasket. Super easy job. I'm just waiting till my next oil change to actually replace it. That was kind of loud. Oops. It was actually pretty funny. Earlier on this year, I had actually taken this thing to a car meet, and someone approached me saying I had the rarest car here. In my mind, I'm thinking, what? What are you talking about? Everyone has a 240. And then he said, it's a bone stock 240. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wow. You're right. It is probably the most rare car here. Of course, since I'm still in school, you know, I would like to modify it, but money will always be an issue. In the future, I definitely probably will mod this thing. Comment down below what you guys think I should do to it first. But yeah, overall, really clean car. And if you guys are wondering how much I paid for it, I paid $4,700 for the car. Yes, I know that is a lot. But for something this clean, I had no problem paying that. Like, I've always wanted a 240, and with how clean this thing is, I felt like that price was justified, especially given the fact that the previous owner was some older lady that's had it for about 15 years. There's actually something that I've been working on in the short time that I've been here. My dirt bikes. So for those of you that don't know, I used to be big into riding dirt bikes. You know, nothing like motocross or anything, but just going out and riding through trails and just exploring. So I have a CRF 230. It's a 2004. Picked it up off Craigslist back when I was in high school. It's really funny because the other night when I was hanging out with Taylor and all them at the shop, Taylor brought his little Honda XR50. I used to have an XR50 when I was about 7 years old. Unfortunately, I lent it to a friend and someone came, broke into their garage and stole it. This was only actually a couple years ago. But when I outgrew the 50, I moved on to an XR100. And then I made the progression into the 230 whenever I outgrew that. Dirt biking was my passion when I was a kid. And it's kind of funny how it's kind of transformed into drifting, but I'll always have a soft spot for dirt biking. And I'm actually just charging up the battery on the 230 to see if I can get it to start. The only bad thing about this 230 is that it doesn't have a kickstart. It's purely just electrical. And if there's one thing that I know, it's that you cannot kill a Honda bike. I've had the battery charging for the better part of 6 hours. But before I go to test to see if I can start it, I need to move my dad's car. This car is his baby. He absolutely loves this thing. Maybe I could convince him to let me take it to a drift event. Probably not. Let's see if we can get the dirt bike started. Keeps cutting out on me. I don't know why. Well, I totally knew that was gonna happen. I drained the battery just from trying to use the electric start so much. I'll probably let it charge overnight and cross my fingers that I can get it to start. I really do think that it's just an issue with the carburetor. I'll let the battery charge up overnight and we will tackle this thing first thing in the morning. Good morning, buddies. Morning. So it is the next morning. The battery on the 230 has been charging all night. Hopefully it has plenty of juice for me to keep cranking it over to hopefully get it started. I mean, yesterday we were able to get it started, it just didn't want to idle, which has me thinking it's an issue with the carburetor. But I'm just really crossing my fingers that I can at least take it out for a ride. And I don't have that much time to be fiddling on the bike. Today is Saturday and I really need to get on my way back to Orlando since I have school on Monday. I'm so not looking forward to starting this semester, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, almost pretty sure that I can attribute this whole issue to the fact that I kept gas in the bike for about over a year. And anything carbureted does not like old gas. Let's see if we can get the dirt bike started. Okay, so at least I know that I can keep it running if I just keep playing with the throttle. I really want to take this thing out for a spin. It's been forever since I've ridden a dirt bike. She died on me. Well, I'm just gonna have to tackle her another day. I'm definitely gonna have to do more research since, you know, I'm not the most well-versed on dirt bike mechanics. There's actually a couple things I do need to do to the bike. The rear drum brake is roasted, so I probably have to change out the shoes or the pads in them. I am missing a screw that holds in the clutch assembly, and the throttle likes to stick. So definitely some things I'm gonna need to address whenever I can. So I'll just have to continually work on the bikes whenever I come home. That was a lot of fun just taking it out for that short spin. It brought back so many memories of my friends and I going out to some trails and going trail riding. Not to mention me drifting my truck that I had at the time. But at least I still have the dirt bikes. Before I make the drive back to Orlando, probably be a good idea if I brought these tires with me. Well, I need to get on my way back to Orlando. I know there wasn't too much that went on in this video, but at least you guys got to see another passion of mine. And hopefully we can get both of the bikes running in no time. And on that note, I hope all of you have an awesome day, and I will see you next time. Peace.